Hi friends, this is the Brainy Bender channel. Today we'll be solving detective riddles for the smartest minds. Want to test your logic? Then make sure to tally up the correct answers you get, and at the end, write down your results in the comments. So, shall we begin? Here's the first riddle. Listen carefully. In a scientific laboratory, various robots were being created. One day, an accident occurred, and all the robots went crazy. They started killing the laboratory workers, and soon only Tim, the chief engineer of the lab, was left alive. He needs to get away as quickly as possible because the robots are about to catch him. He ran through the rooms for a long time, but eventually ended up at a dead end. On the table, he saw 3 items: a water gun, a screwdriver, and a TV remote control. Now think carefully and answer, how can Tim escape? The screwdriver could be useful for opening the ventilation and escaping, but it would take too long to unscrew, and the robots would definitely catch Tim. The water gun might help take out at least one robot, but what about the others? The remote control is absolutely useless here. These are robots, not walking TVs. I hope you noticed the fire suppression button. It activates the sprinklers, and the robots will simply burn out. A madman kidnapped 3 girls and planned to kill them. He called a detective and said that all the girls would be dead if he didn't solve the puzzle. The maniac said that Emma is afraid of the dark, so he would leave her to die in a dark room. Lily is terrified of all insects, so he decided to release venomous wasps on her. Sophie is afraid of dirt and bacteria and lives in complete cleanliness. The maniac decided to leave her to die in a swamp. One of the girls' fears was made up by the maniac. The detective needs to figure out which one, and then all the girls will stay alive. The detective went to each girl's apartment, hoping to find a clue. Now try to answer which fear is made up. Feel free to write your guesses in the comments. It would be great if you first write your answer and then see if it matches the correct one. Emma is indeed afraid of the dark. Her apartment is very bright. Sophie's home looks very clean. She really hates dirt. But Lily, on the other hand, loves insects. Otherwise, why would she have a huge tarantula? The policeman was taking the criminal to the station, facing prison for attempted robbery. He had nothing to lose, so he tried to escape. The robber hid in a restaurant that caught his eye. There was a multicultural themed party going on, and he blended in perfectly. When the policeman entered the restaurant, he realized that the criminal had mingled with the crowd. Can you find him? This guy is wearing Ukrainian clothes, a Mexican hat, and cowboy boots. He was in a hurry, so he put on clothes from different costumes. It seems that wasn't the smartest move. A very fortunate knight received a mission from the king. He had to reach a castle and rescue the princess imprisoned there. The task sounded simple, but there was one problem. The castle was guarded by a huge fire-breathing dragon, eagerly waiting for our knight with a massive appetite. If the brave soul managed to save the princess, the king would allow them to marry and, as a bonus, would give them half of his kingdom. There was no time to think in such a situation. He had to set out to help immediately. Everything was going smoothly for our hero. But then he came across a room with 2 identical passageways. Above both doors hung signs with clues, and our knight knew exactly what that meant. One of them spoke the truth, and the other was pure lies. Look at these signs. Can you guess which door leads to the princess and which to the dragon? The second sign speaks the absolute truth. Arguing with this is pointless, so it turns out the first sign is a lie, and the knight must do the exact opposite. The princess is behind the second door. The next task will be very simple. You just need to look at the picture and say who among these people is the criminal. This miner escaped from prison but forgot to take off his handcuffs. This woman has a bunch of money in her bag. She probably robbed a bank. And now the criminal turned out to be this man. He stole a dinosaur bone and is planning to sell it on the black market. If you solved at least one of these puzzles, give the video a like because only the most attentive will manage. Are you ready for the next riddle? Then listen carefully. John and Mary were walking with their children, Tom and Lucy, on the beach. They stepped away for a couple of minutes to buy some ice cream for their kids. But when they returned, they saw that their son Tom was missing, and Lucy was sitting alone on a bench. The girl said that a man in a mask had run up and taken her brother away. The parents immediately called the police, and within 5 minutes, the best detectives arrived at the scene. "He couldn't have gone far," said one of the police officers, and they began searching for suspicious people on the beach. Very soon, they had 3 suspects who matched the description of the kidnapper. The first man said he was walking his dog on the beach and didn't even see their son. The second suspect replied that he works as a lifeguard on this beach, so he couldn't leave his post. And the third said that he had just arrived at the beach and didn't understand why he was being questioned. Look closely at the suspects. Who kidnapped the boy? The boy's parents recognized their son's cap, which the third suspect was wearing. He is the kidnapper. And now I will give you a few simple riddles, but be ready to think outside the box. Here's the first one. What is lighter than a feather, but even the strongest person in the world can't hold it for 10 minutes? Breath, of course. What else? What day starts with the letter T besides Tuesday and Thursday? The correct answer is today. It also starts with T. What needs to be broken before you can use it? An egg. Frying it with the shell on would be quite tricky. Let's find out how observant you are. Try to spot the person among these people who is a bit different from the others. Well, can you see the differences? This woman's eye color is different. Did you find the difference in the button color? Take a look here. The crown of this girl looks slightly different. Excellent. And this dog's collar is slightly different. Did you notice? It's the perfect time to write your result in the comments if you've solved, for example, 10 riddles, then write 10 out of 15. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch our new videos and develop your logic. That's all for today. This was Brainy Bender. Goodbye, everyone.